How you doing? Taking a long time to do this, but here I'm doing another wee video. I'm going to grab a bit of coffee here. It's interesting that I would do this today. This is it was the weekend of the anniversary of what was known as Bloody Sunday in Ireland, in this city. Derry, Londonderry, whatever you might want to call it. Still a fight for justice and peace all around the world to rise up against oppression, and that probably includes America now. It played a really big part in the peace process here, and now seem to have gone down a very different route. Anyway, so this is about 8 months overdue. It's a long way overdue. But it's the third video, and this is the one in which I'm going to talk about myself, who I am. And I'm doing that because there are some little, I'm going to start to refer to as, I'm going to use asterisks so it doesn't get taken down. SH asterisk TS. Who for a while now I've hang on, there's something in my eyelid there. It's a bit weird, isn't it? What is it? Is it sleep? Oh well. Sorry about that. Thought they could talk about me on the internet. And I am a far stronger, capable, decent, honest person than they could ever sadly hope to be. And that's the first part. I'm going to talk about who I am, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened after. It's so long ago now, but I find this is the length of time it takes to do things properly now. As a working class person, I'm someone who it's really important for me that there's a guy there. He was the principal of the Academy of Music I went to in Glasgow, John Wallace, and I think it was him that used the term, or maybe it was somewhere I heard it later, to be able to lead from the middle, the front and the back, and John Wallace certainly done that. He was everywhere and just affable and personable and 100% and 10 out of 10. So it's important for me in my life to feel like I maintain that the working class are really everything, you know, because they do everything. And where did I start? I've done that again. Anyway, I'm going to have a chat about what happened after I came back from Argentina. This was, oh, that's what I was saying. As working people take so long to get around to tackling these things properly. So it is so long. But what happened to me when I came back from Argentina in 2015, but it went on for about 3 years, and then there were the restrictions from the coronavirus and so on. So yeah, so I'll start with myself. I was born into a family, the youngest of 7 children, born in Falkirk Royal Infirmary and raised in Cumbernauld, in Greenfalls in Cumbernauld. And hang on. Awful. No, it's not too bad. Okay. Went to school in Cumbernauld, Our Lady's High School. I went to what was then called the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama, and then I got a postgrad in education from Edinburgh University, and another few wee things after that. Later on I went to retrain as an optician. I'd done 2 or 4 years at Glasgow Caledonian. It was all about money. I didn't feel the course was so well regulated. There was someone there who was a bit shifty and talking about his mates being caught with 12 grand of coke in the boot, and I think in hindsight he'd done that to dig me up, and when I spoke to someone about it, it became a bit of an... Anyway, that's an aside. I felt it was about money and it wasn't working. It wasn't worth retraining for that, and maybe I was wrong, but in any case I made that decision. And it's relevant, I suppose, in some way in that, so again I'm going to make this 20 minutes, that's 5 minutes. It was halfway through that course that I went to Argentina as a result of a death in the family. So sadly we lost a sister, my sister Alisane, in tragic circumstances. And that was the big driver for me to go to Argentina. A friend of mine had gone to Brazil straight out of school, and I was always jealous of that. And I'd gone to Brazil the year before. It didn't really seem like my bag. The tango, and I'll be totally honest, there was a show there that I saw, what's it called again? I think it's Passion Sábado, Saturday Passion. Basically the show before you go out to the pub. And beautiful women jumping about. I thought, yeah, I could do with chilling out a bit, you know, that kind of attitude to ourselves and our lives. I could do a bit of that. Diego, bizarrely, I don't know why, but the light blue of the football shirt there as well. I thought, give Argentina a try. And it was interesting in that Argentina's probably a bit more 7 minutes European in culture than Brazil, and so they loved the Scots and Irish music. I played the tango and they really liked that, and the Beatles, and just whatever, just play anything, because people didn't care, you know. Anybody else spoken about that before? No. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yeah, Argentina was great, was wonderful. When I came back from Argentina, I come back to life, is the fact of the matter, and I was determined to hold on to that, because to be quite honest, you know, I was at the end of my tether in Scotland before I went to Argentina, and I felt like I'd come back to life. So this was a spirit I wasn't going to let go of, and I wasn't aware at the time of how much opposition that would meet in Scotland, in the United Kingdom. Being of Irish origin, very strongly, it redirected me to my roots again. Basically what it done, it took me back to the 90s in Scotland, where people still had kind of control of themselves and their lives and their communities, and so it was a bit of a reset in a way going to Argentina, and I was determined to hold on to that, go back in touch with the Irish roots again, and that also didn't really go down well. But just as I was determined to hold on to the spirit that I'd come back to in Argentina, that was part of it, because my Irish heritage is a big part of who I am and who my family were for 3 generations in Scotland. Like many, left Ireland for work, late 1800s, and so I'd gone to Edinburgh because Edinburgh was more international, and I had been in a city that was very international, and I felt that Glasgow looked in. Great city, but it looked in, and Edinburgh looks out. That's the capital of Scotland, so I had to be back in Scotland. The financial situation out in Argentina meant I had to leave, and I would be in Edinburgh. So these two things, being inspired by Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner and her party and her family and my Irish heritage, didn't go down well when I returned, is a long and short of it. And I was determined to hold on to that. And so people attached onto me and they started to target me. But I know I'm right, you see. And unfortunately what's happened is people in my life, people I care about, have been affected by that. So I have a difficult balance. Because one of the things that I still want to do is to sue Big Pharma for what I believe is murdering my sister. And so if I do nothing, then I betray my sister and my family. And if I continue to do the right thing, then there are some difficulties for me there also. So it's a balance I have to address. And I think I do that, certainly trying to do that. And I don't have any choice, is the fact of the matter. Otherwise I just decide to opt out altogether, which is not an answer either. So my message to those people is, no matter who you are or what you think you know about me, what you think you know about my life, you won't beat me. Because I'm actually from a family that's far too strong and learned and decent and hardworking and achieving. There's absolutely no way I would allow you to stop me from living my life. Now I say that looking awful, but yeah. And I do need a haircut and the beard dealt with, but you know, Ron Burgundy, and you know, I'll probably be okay if I look after myself. I live in a great city now. I drive a taxi. And a lot of people here understand my mindset. It's a very cool place with a lot of cool people, intelligent, hardworking. So many people like the family I came from, so many. So I'm in good company here. I was given lots of scholarships when I was younger. I studied with a very fine teacher who herself was a principal with the New York Metropolitan Opera, and she thought well of my musicianship. I think technically I didn't achieve what maybe would have been the end goal of that pursuit, but I do feel today, when I look at a lot of those musicians, the relevance of playing those Scalic passages. For me, music is so personal to us, it's so important, that I always struggled with the dance monkey dance parts of classical music. And then there's the fact that there are so many more impressive things today than octaves or what would be tenths or something. No one really cares, you know. So it just seems, it did seem to me then, and it still seems to me today, that something has to be addressed there. Just take those out, you know. It's a bit cruel. It's like animal cruelty, you know. It's musician cruelty, I don't know, to make humans do that, because it is impressive. But music for me was always slightly different. So I didn't end up as a soloist or as a member of a world-class string quartet or a good string quartet. I think it was roughly where I was going. And sometimes I'm sad about that, but when I look at my life and what I've done, I think I've probably done the right thing. And God bless Argentina, they returned me to the knowledge that I am a very fine violinist. I don't have to do all that. that stuff. And if I can get a decent violin, I'll maybe get an orchestra together in this town. I don't know. Lots of things I can do yet. And so, what was the purpose of this video? To talk about myself and yeah, my determination. So let's have a look now a little bit at some of the attention. So my father died in 2021. God rest him. I'm sitting at a table in Stirling, and as things have been in my family, excuse me, again, just awful, sorry about that, needs must. I was on my own. It was complex, and I had been at the funeral, and I think it was the day after or something. And as I was a worker known across the Central Belt in the work that I'd done, people recognised me sitting there and this little SH asterisk T has said to me as he's passed, cry yourself to sleep. I did put this in a video somewhere, maybe it was another one. Anyway, relevant here as well. People who seem to know, or, well, they think they know who I am, as I said, who would say that to me? And other similar things to that. There's something going on online, I don't know what it is. And a relevant thing to say there, I suppose, is I forgot even what I was going to say there. It's terrible. It makes me so angry. Oh yeah, that's right. So what I have done in my life is to, if people are going to be so intrusive, and governments caring not a jot, then yeah, have a look at this one. What do you make of that? You know, and then people have used that, or they think they can use that against me again. The reality is I won't be bullied ever, and I think I've said in another video there, I only have 2 minutes left, I'm a human like everybody else, and you know, if you get me on the wrong day, then it's not going to be good. Why would you do that? Why would you behave like this? But also to governments, why are you allowing this to happen? It's just unforgivable, you know. I've remembered something else there, and I'll say this and then I'll round up. I had someone follow me on the way to work repeatedly, and when I recorded this and passed it on to what would have been the supervisor, I suppose, the question was, why have you recorded this? No protection against this stuff. And this person, it must have been a brother or two brothers, because they looked very similar, and I suspect that they were in the armed forces, sitting very close to me in the train station, closer than normal. I don't know what's possible when doing that kind of thing, but there's been a tension there from people for whom I have nothing to do with. They're nothing to do with me. And unfortunately, the country I was born into never does anything about that. And that's not my character. I'll do the blood test soon. I'll be very close to all Irish blood, and it's just not in me to spend my whole life coalescing with that kind of nonsense. So I've returned to Ireland, and I'm definitely happier. So I have 10 seconds. Just for the sake of parity, I'm going to round it up there. Okay. Maybe there'll be another one, maybe there won't. Thank you.